In this short video, I want to just mention the words declension and conjugation and talk about them for a little bit. You'll definitely run across these terms. Declension refers to nouns and conjugation refers to verbs. Usually the nouns of a foreign language will fall into large groups, group 1, group 2, group 3. They don't go on ad infinitum. Usually by group 5, you're done. But we call these, for nouns, we call them declension. For the first declension, the second declension, the third declension, because they might have different ways to different sets of endings or other letters that you were to add to the root of the noun to carry all the information that a noun is meant to carry concerning the cases, right? Not only is the noun going to be carrying the information of number and gender, it's going to be carrying case information, which means it could be a nominative case or genitive, a dative, accusative, ablative, or vocative. So you're going to be having to learn the way that the noun rolls through the single version and then the plural version of those cases, right? So each nominative case is going to show up a certain way if it's a singular noun. It's going to show up another way if it's a plural noun. You're going to have a slightly different ending. So again, a lot of memory work, but that's called declining the noun. And many there are books out there that really just focus on noun declensions and just provide you, say, 500 words or 100 words or 1,000 words and their declension. And you can also find this online. And you definitely don't need to. What depends on what you want to do with Greek and how long you want to do it. But there are some words that you do need to know. I think we all need to have some sort of basic working vocabulary when we're trying to learn a foreign language. So I would recommend that vocabulary be at least 100 words. Have a notebook, write them down, try to learn these. I would say on the safe side, let's go for 500. But so that's declension, okay. For verbs, you have conjugation, and the same thing applies. You're going to have major classes of verbs, large groups that called the first conjugation and the second conjugation, and for the first conjugation, the endings or the inflection material that you're going to be adding to the word, the root, is a certain set, and then for the second conjugation verbs, it's going to be slightly different. For the third conjugation, it's also going to be slightly different. I do not know how to explain or even theorize as to how those different large classes, declensions and conjugation sets, came about, but they did. But they double and triple the memory work, and so be prepared for a lot of this if you really want to master a foreign language to a decent reading ability. All right. I think it's a bit, I don't know why you would take it to the point of a speaking ability. It'd be nice to learn to know how to pronounce it correctly so you can read it aloud. But, please let me know if you run across anyone speaking ancient Greek, these days. So I can hear it and see it and think about it. But anyway, conjugations and declensions, and the most important thing that at this point, well, I don't know if I'm going to say the most important thing, but a very important thing at this point is that you learn how to control the flood of information so that you don't get overwhelmed and discouraged and you quit. Okay, so when you hit the first declension of a noun, and then you realize there's this whole second set of nouns called the second declension, why don't you learn one or two nouns from the first declension, one or two nouns from the second, and make sure that you purposefully have a very simple selection of words here so that you can experience what the first declension looks like, what the second declension looks like. You can work with the memory, but don't overwhelm yourself unless you know your situation very carefully and know that this is the right time for you to do this, okay? Many people who learn Greek or Latin or a foreign language to a really practical use level where they can translate it, where they can read it. These are people that have spent years studying it. Okay. And when you are single and in college and can minor in a foreign language or even major in it and study it that way because you feel called to do that, or that's where your gifts are, or that's what you want to do because you want to go into translation, it takes that sort of focus, consistent time frame where you don't have a family, you don't have uh, a full-time job, you don't have, and you can just sit down and immerse yourself in it. Okay. And after 3, 4, 5 years of that, you end up with a core body of knowledge about that foreign language that's going to stay with you for the rest of your life practically. And then if you are fortunate enough to be put in a situation where you can actually use it on a regular basis, you know, then your knowledge is going to continue to grow, and you're going to be left with an expanding knowledge that will stay with you even longer in your life. So there's a very large amount of time and practice that needs to go into this, right, to learn it at a deep level. So there's no problem at all, I don't think, in realizing that for your situation, you might only need to know it at a certain not so deep level. All right. And um, you know, don't you're going to have to develop strategies so that when you look at a book that's giving you 1,001 declined Greek for nouns, you don't blow a gasket. So there's a sense of getting realistic expectations. There's a sense of just asking yourself why are you doing it, and then just getting always carving out time for it. Telling your family or your significant other or whatnot that you need this 30-minute or this 10-minute or 15-minute section of the day on these days all the time for the next year, okay, as much as possible. So yeah, these are things to think through. But declensions and conjugations, this is where your vocabulary work comes in. This is where a lot of memory work comes in. uh, Good luck with all of this. All right, over and out.